whatever's come before us is the primary determinant for our perceptions, for our development. It's the reason how we got here. Everything that's ever transpired before, every villainous act of treachery, every betrayal, every collaboration, every individual effort, every moment of skill communication, skill transference. That's a transcendent thing, because if you're transferring the skills that empowered you to another, you're not getting any benefit from that, except the abstract feeling of connection and a feeling of respect, mutual respect. I respect your ability, that your potential for using these skills. So I'm going to sacrifice my time in order to teach you these skills. And you're going to sacrifice your time to learn these skills. Why? Because you are convinced of their efficacy, either through the joy of doing the act, of performing the skill, or the benefits that it affords you, the fame, the neural, the chemical calibration of satisfaction, financial security, physical security, more comfort. You're cozier, but you've got to do these incredibly challenging things with your body and with your nervous system, with the way in which you choreograph these contractions, these extensions. These myriad ways in which we can traverse from that central point of nucleus contact with your knees, with your toes. And then go to the extremes away from that. Go to the largest orbit of the electron cloud. We can measure that very precisely. It's amazing that we look back in history and we ascribe absolutist power to individuals who were trying to solve the problems, the unifying problems that impacted everyone's daily life by changing the way that they interface, or that the studies showed the way that other ideas and ideologies and habits and rituals altered the way that they were interfaced with. The interfacers and the interfacees are trading their roles. It's not a one-directional exercise of command. Now, in the justice system, in the penal system, it is that. There is no deviation. That's ultimate conformity. That's the loss of freedom. That's the extreme loss of personal sovereignty. Your body is theirs, legally. Oh. There have been so many cases in which unjustly the pursuit of greed, the pursuit of revenge, the pursuit of sadistic satisfaction, sadistic happiness was construed in such a way that it justified villainous acts that helped to establish the substrate from which this civilization grew a little bit more. We have added to civilization. There's been many scientists that America has produced, that the world has produced. Prior to science, everything was philosophy. Everything was divinity. Some aspect of divinity. If you're a part of creation, you must be a part of God's creation. You matter because you are made of matter. Matter has mass. Beautiful day. I'm in a beautiful little place. Oh! See how my legs are in contact right there? And because I'm lifting as I'm shifting, I'm turning, and I'm circumnavigating these imaginary little globes. I have a bunch of these little foam balls that are made with a material that makes them appear as if they're the earth. Oh. 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 To visualize that power, to have it in your hands and then let it go. That's an experimental approach to visualizing that one does whenever you think about chakras actually existing. When you think about chi actually being this experience or this entity that cannot be described by the laws of physics. Everything comes back to physics. Everything comes back to thermodynamics. Everything comes back to the theory of relativity, the curvature of space-time. All of the math, this has been proven time and time again. We can bend light. Quantum physics, how things happen at the ultra small level has been reconciled. Dirac, Feynman, they dedicated their lives to that study. And they were so dedicated and they were such humanists that they didn't see the dereliction of duty in being eternally vigilant, in defending rationality, logical thinking, logical problem solving. They did more than enough by just simply doing anything. But they also recognized that, hey, they were fortunate to have their parents. They were fortunate to grow up in this geographical location that was close to, in approximate range to museums and to these expressions of higher uses for the mind and for this cerebral capacity. A drug addict has the same, certain, the cortical regions that somebody who's born in a metropolitan area and grows up in an incredibly stimulating, varied, holistic human experience. So, what's the difference? What's the difference in the wiring? What's the invisible differences that makes their level of success, social success, emotional success, financial success, so drastically different? And you can see that even within families. Mm. Mm. You can have people who are genetically very similar, but have drastically different life outcomes. Mm. There's something about the way you approach life. There's something about the philosophical, systematized act of interpreting the perceptual information, the perceptual stimulation that occurs by aligning your body with itself. See, the more you begin to understand these different dimensional approaches to making your body work more in harmony from a gravitational point of view, means that the skeletal system must also be working in a more harmonically unified way. I don't see my bones, but I know they're there. Mm. 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 And you don't have to complete the entire motion. That's one thing about this. Because we spend so much time in these slow motion passages, the rides from start to finish of the roller coaster of the hands, the finger joints. There's a beginning and an ending. Whatever that is, there's some invisible flow. There's also a track for the bones that they're taking. There's fluid that's in those regions. That's impacting the inertia. If you want to have the greatest control of your body, you need to awaken those muscles that can be directed down into the ground, but those two that can be directed in the opposite direction. Now, whenever you're doing that, how long is that flexion? What angular movements? What are the parameters that are governing these roller coasters that are in the amusement park of you? The original you, the original DNA design of you. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter where you're from, it doesn't matter what race you are, doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter your gender. You can be anywhere. You can be any combination, you can be any demographic. And I promise you, we needed this before we had technology. In fact, this was the process by which we merged with the natural world. And things just came to us. Position yourself around the water. Have a camp around the water. And be downwind. Allow the wind to come at you. And the animals, your scent, your animal scent, will